At the Essential Fly, we regularly get asked what flies we would recommend by new fly fishermen. Once we establish the fisherman is going to still water, our first recommendation is always buzzers. The conversation usually goes along the lines of, "I don't get on with them, I had no success with buzzers." A few minutes conversation always reveals the same. They're new to fly fishing. In their fly box they currently own half a chicken that's been dyed in different colours and tied on lure hooks that they strip at varying speeds across the water. Further conversation usually reveals their average fish is 2 to 3 pounds stocky. We then talk to them about buzzers. But do they really work, they ask. We send them our e-guide on buzzer fishing, reveal the knowledge found in this video, and they usually phone us up fairly shortly after and ask us for more, having beat their best using new techniques and new buzzers, and that's really good for the new fly fisherman. As you'll see here, buzzers work. Here is my best, only 22 pounds, superb fish, caught on a very small buzzer. Midges lay eggs in the water. These hatch into bloodworm, which can grow to about 12mm or half an inch long. When ready to emerge, they then lose their bright blood red colour, changing to a more sombre brown, black or orange colour, and swim to the surface to hatch. At this stage the pupae are known to fly fishermen as buzzers. Once at the surface they sit below the surface film, fighting to break through the tough barrier to the air above, often hanging upside down in a J shape, frequently imitated by CDC trout emerger flies. This fight can be too much, and many buzzers die unable to break through the surface film. Those that do break through hatch into midges, taking only 30 seconds to move from pupae to adult midge, where they stand on the surface film, held up by surface tension until they fly off the water. There are two stages of the midge life cycle that are of primary importance to the fly fisherman: the bloodworm and the buzzer. Indeed, many argue that for the stillwater fly fisherman, these are the two most important flies a stillwater fly fisherman can have. We will show you the techniques to use these flies to deadly effect. If you look at the larvae of a midge with a magnifying glass or microscope, it appears less worm-like and has a segmented outer shell like other insect larvae. Good flies will often imitate this segmentation. Midge larvae are bright red in colour. The red coloration is from a hemoglobin-like substance which allows them to live in water with very little oxygen. Indeed, midge larvae are red for much the same reason that our blood is red, because it carries oxygen. So it's not surprising that these larvae are called bloodworms. They live in soft mud found in the bottom of most still waters, where they spend their time attached to the bottom or other solid surfaces. Older and larger bloodworms may still get up and move around at night, but for the most part they sit still and grab bits of stuff to eat as it floats by. To attach themselves to a surface and help protect themselves from predators, bloodworms make a tube to live in. The tube is made from bits of mud, algae or whatever's available. They stick this together with spit and build a tube around themselves. Bloodworm are about half an inch or 12mm long and either straight or crescent shaped. Bloodworm are found naturally at the bottom of rivers and lakes, so ideally these are fished as a point fly at the bottom of a team of buzzers or pupae. Either use a weighted bloodworm or an ultra slim bloodworm like Sandy's bloodworm, which will sink rapidly because of the thin profile which reduces water resistance. Bloodworm flies are best fished static and deep to imitate the natural bloodworm. Try using the Essential Fly buzzer rig shown in this video. When bloodworm are getting ready to hatch into an adult midge, they lose their blood red colour and take on a more sombre appearance. They can be red, black, olive, orange or brown in appearance. Shape is critical. You can be successful with other colours. For example, we found blue buzzers work well if they have the correct profile. If you look at buzzer, you will see a large thorax or head area which is imitated on buzzer flies. Typically, buzzers are actually the size of a size 14 hook, although they can be as small as size 22. After all, they do hatch into small midges. Buzzers work on still waters, ranging from size 8 down to size 22. The pupae make the way from the lake bottom up through the water columns to the surface. This is achieved by a wriggling swimming action. It's this wriggling action that we must learn and appreciate as fly fishermen. Many anglers can be seen stripping lures and do the same with buzzers. Watch the action of a buzzer. It is a small pupae. It doesn't move vast distances. It simply rises and falls in the water column. The buzzer swims towards the surface, then stops, either to catch their breath or waiting for the right conditions to hatch. When they do stop wriggling towards the surface, they slowly sink back before swimming upwards again. This up and down movement is simple to replicate, as you'll see in the techniques section of this video. When they eventually reach the surface, they hang from the surface film and hatch out into adult buzzers or midges. It is, however, on the journey to the surface that buzzers are at their most vulnerable. Once the pupa reaches the surface, it tends to get stuck under the surface film. It takes a while to push through it. While they are doing this, they simply hang in the surface film like little commas, and trout cruise leisurely, sipping buzzers just under the surface. How can we tell when there's a buzzer hatch? Firstly, the trout rise form shows no fish most of the time, just a subtle ringlet. Other times you may see the top of the shoulders, then the back, and the top of the tail, as the fish porpoises slowly, taking buzzers from the surface film. This is a really good identification that fish are hitting buzzers just on the surface. Some of the hatches will be localized, may not be spotted unless you're fishing in that area. However, buzzer hatches can be spotted either looking for the adult fly or looking in the margins for spent pupae bodies, the shucks in the surface film. Another good identification of midge hatches occurring is swallows flying close to the surface of the water, taking newly hatched flies. Let's look at some buzzer fishing techniques. We use floating lines or midge tip lines almost exclusively. Buzzer fishing is not a case of stripping big lures. If you see fish porpoising, then try using CDC emergers or Shipman's buzzers or Sandy's assassins with a team of 2 or 3 flies sitting in the surface film. Alternatively, the ideal buzzer team consists of a bloodworm on the point to get deep where the natural bloodworm is found, a buzzer on the middle dropper, and a buzzer with breathers in the tail and head as the top dropper. This will imitate the life cycle of the emerging buzzer. Your leader and team of flies can be anything from 12 to 25 feet long. Different techniques you can try are to use a bite indicator. Try a thingamybobber or even a dry fly like a stimulator as the top fly with the remaining team below. Cast and leave your flies to drop below the feeding zone, which may be from 2 to 6 feet or more. Once the flies drop below that zone, then simply let them drift if there is a wind, or alternatively lift your rod slowly to 45 degrees, taking about 5 seconds. This will imitate the natural buzzers rising in the water. Once your rods reach 45 degrees, then simply lower your rod, take up the slack quickly, and let the flies drop into the feeding zone again. Be prepared for trout to hammer the flies with this technique on both the lift and the drop. Bite indication is key. Use one of the many indicators, or another very neat technique is to use a permanent marker pen and mark 3 to 6 inches of your fly line in black every 12 inches for the first 20 feet. It's astounding how quickly you can identify a bite with this simple technique.
like torpedoes, look. See them? You can see them underneath the surface. I think they're taking the buzzard before it emerges out. They're just picking it off because that's why I took the tungsten tip away. You can see them.
They were doing it last night, they had evening rise last night, and they were about 4 inch.
That's right.
As soon as it got down to about 4 inch, they were taken. But they were losing a lot of fish. Really.
That second one, I hooked it in the surface there, I couldn't even put it. Look at it. That same taking the emergers are no blinking surface. Just coming up and swirling.
So Sandy, what flies are you using?
Blankbuster flashbacks.
Okay. And any special techniques?
Just my normal technique for fishing the buzzers.
Which is? Or is that a secret?
No, it's near enough static, but just moving.
Okay.
You look at the water, it's algae, you can't see much.
Oh, okay.
So the fish have got the same distance to see a fly as what you think you have. So it could be a bit, maybe less than 6 inches. So you've got to slow it down so they don't miss it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Buzzers just drifting around in the current and working a tree.
Are they taking the flies out deep, or are they taking the flies on the retrieve?
Really shallow. Slow retrieve.
Yeah.
I mean, it's surprising, a sunny day, and they're really high in the water.
Yeah.
Fishing here, Mick, what you doing? What you fishing with?
Buzzers,
Yeah.
bloodworm under an indicator.
Then 4.
11.7.
How big do you think? What's your guess?
It's a double anyway, Jan.
What fly was that on?
Pardon?
What was it caught on?
Blankbuster flashback.
Oh, okay. What did it catch on? So what was that last fish caught on?
Blankbuster flashback.
Again.
Again.
It does it again.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see which fly they went for, Jerry.
Dropper. Red flies are on the top dropper.
Ah. What did it take on?
Believe it or no. Blankbuster flashback.
Does it again?
That does it again. A nice call.
So what flies are you using today, Graham?
You've got some buzzers on.
I put up, that's 5 now.
What did this one go on?
Do you really want me to tell you?
Yeah, go on.
A flashback blankbuster.
Just for a change,
Yeah,
like?
just for a change. I don't know if it's a double, but it's a good fish.